Alright, morning folks, another episode of Motorsport Brothers. Today I'm just going to, although it's about a week late, finally getting better after just catching a horrible cold in the Eifel Mountains when I was visiting the 6 hours of Nürburgring. Got really cold during the night and then quite warm during the day, so still recovering from the cold, and it's cold here in Munich as well now, about 7 degrees. So yeah. So this is a race roundup from last Sunday, and just very quickly to give you the results. Porsche claimed places 1 and 2. The first three or rather I should say that the first car that claimed number 1 was driven by Timo Benhard, Mark Webber and Brendan Hartley. The second car was driven by Romain Dumas, Neil Jani and Mark Lieb, and this was followed by 2 Audis, 2 Toyotas, and in the LMGTE Pro, Porsche Manthey team placed first. Porsche Manthey is the sort of the big name, or it's the local team that's right there in very close to the GP track, and they've been there for quite some years, and they participate in all sorts of endurance races. The of course the Le Mans endurance race, and as well as the 24 hours of Nürburgring. So they were the first in the LMGTE Pro category with their 911 RSR. And it was something quite interesting to me that Matthias Lauda, the son of Niki Lauda, the legend, he was also competing in this event, and his team placed second in the LMGTE AM category. And so the race in general was quite exciting. The cars were doing average lap times of 1 minute 38 seconds, which is about 5 less than a Formula 1 car. And given the criticism that F1 faces today in terms of the the romance not being there anymore, or the loudest criticism of all about the engine noise or the lack thereof, this event was quite the opposite. You had cars that were as quiet as anything to cars that would literally make you bleed out of your ears, and all for about 35 euros, and it was really an enjoyable event. Something that I didn't do in the first 2 days was to actually go to the other stands in the circuit, and for some reason I could not maybe communicate with the people who look after the circuit, the ordiners, and unfortunately so I couldn't see parts of the circuit then. But on race day I said, well, let's try walking the circuit, and I went to the other parts, and it was quite great. I took a lot of pictures, and surprisingly I was quite good at taking them. And yeah, I also received some comments from people to whom I showed my pictures, and one of the comments, or a common theme, was that I should maybe include more action. So that's the aim for the next race that I attend. But in general, the endurance series is something that if you haven't been attending, please go attend any kind of endurance racing, whether it be the WEC Championship or whether it be the 24 hours at Nürburgring. These events are really fun because not only can you move about the track, you can also, especially at something like the 24 hours of Nürburgring, people will actually camp for the entire night, and they'll bring their little barbecues and their TVs and whatnot, and just have a great time while watching drivers do their thing. And so I believe that for all the criticism that Formula One is receiving, I think they could take a leaf out of the book of FIA WEC and maybe make it a bit more accessible, especially given the current financial problems that the sport is facing, the current problem with popularity among the public. You could definitely learn a lot of things from the way that these events are being organized, and maybe change a few things and make it more accessible for fans. For example, on Sunday there was, autograph sessions are also common in Formula One, but what was not common in Formula One is the option of actually walking the grid, or at least a start-finish straight. And people who bought the early bird tickets to this event, for like people like me, although I didn't take part in the grid walk because I wanted to get good seats, so I waited until everyone was out on the grid so I could come in and then just take the best seat possible for watching the race and taking pictures. But people were actually given the opportunity of walking the grid and also being in the pit lane, front of the pit lane, back of the pit lane. And there were no restrictions apart from certain things. You could move about the entire track, except for the Schumacher S's. They didn't open them, they didn't sell those many tickets. But still, 62,000 people is a big number. Compare that to Formula One races where about 30,000 people showed up in 2014, which is just sad. And I can see why the German Grand Prix was dropped from the calendar this year. It's too restrictive, fans are not given enough access, and of course you're going to have lower numbers. And it was quite great to see people enjoying themselves at this race. You had young families, they came with their kids, and almost everyone was having a picnic on the stands while they were watching the race. And you didn't have the security people telling, oh, you can't go there all the time. That was the best part, in my opinion. So that's the roundup of the FIA WEC Round 4 at the Nürburgring. The next race is at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Unfortunately, I can't go there, but and although this is still a bit up in the air, I do plan to attend the 12 Hours of Sebring in March. So I have vacations during that time, so hopefully I'll be able to plan my trip in such a way that I can go home and also visit the 12 Hours of Sebring in Florida. It also means an epic road trip down the eastern seacoast, the eastern coast of the United States. So should be quite interesting and exciting. Still haven't planned it yet, but of course I will come back with an update. So that's it for now. Ciao.